Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Vagarthaviva Sampriktau Vagartha Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwarau Yenakshara Samamnayam Adhigamya Maheshwarat Kritsnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam. Okay. Continue. Good. Okay. All right. Sorry for 20 minutes gone. Okay. So what we've been looking at so far, that the entire journey in Sanskritam is based on two words, Tingantapada and Subantapada. A Tingantapada is what? A verb which is a dhatu, may have an upasarga optionally, to which a ting pratyaya is added. And that ting pratyaya may require a vikarna pratyaya to come. Another pratyaya. What's a pratyaya? That which is added after something, after a pratipadika or after a dhatu. Those are only two things that will be added after. Either dhatu or pratipadika. What is dhatu? Root. Right? What is the other side? The nouns are what? Subanta padam. What is Subanta padam? A sup pratyaya is added to a pratipadikam. A noun base is called pratipadikam. All right. So you have these two words. The Tingantapada will denote something. Right? Either it will denote karta or karma or bhava. So yesterday we had this interesting question. Gurave Namaha. What is this story with Gurave Namaha? So Gurubhyo Namaha or Gurave Namaha, I said it is Kartari Prayoga. Right? See, it is Kartari Prayoga, all right, but what is denoted there is that Namaha. In a way, Karta is denoted, but it means Gurubhyaha Namaskaram Astu. Gurubhyaha Namaskaram Astu. Now, Astu or Bhavatu, may it be. This Bhavatu is a Kartari Prayoga of Bhudhatu. All right. Now, what it is denoting here, the karta really, what is the karta? Namaskaram bhavatu. Mama namaskaram bhavatu. That namaskaram itself is treated like a karta in the kartari prayoga. That's how it works here. Okay. If you didn't follow this, don't worry too much about it. This is the first time I heard this question. It is an interesting question for me to look up why it's happening, how to explain it. So the way you're looking at it is that, see, just like the other day, I said a pot is. And the question was Kartari Prayoga. So who is the Karta? I said pot. And there's a question, how can pot be a Karta? There's a question. And I had to say, look, the pot is a grammatical Karta. In grammar, it's a Karta. Right? It's not a conscious fellow. But it's a karta from grammar perspective. In the same way, this namaskaranam, the doing namaskara, can also be a karta. It's like a dravyavat. Therefore, it is kartari prayoga, all right, but not the common way. It's not a thing kartari, not thing samanikaran that way directly. There is some element of difficulty in understanding this. I would appreciate if you don't understand, don't worry about it. So the person who asked me the question, I can talk one-on-one later if it's still a problem. Okay. But the fact is, we will see other situations as well where you will not see a karta like this directly. You'll see something else coming. There will be other situations like a samasa, etc. We will deal with them when we get there. All right. So now the key things, if you look at it in the whole languages, subanta and tinganta, and both are driven by a base. One is called a dhatu, one is called a pratipadika. Right? And they take pratyayas. So I thought I will spend some time giving you a quick understanding of how this dhatu and pratyayas work. Okay. Now, the dhatu is a starting point. All right. And to the dhatu, we normally add a ting pratyaya. A ting pratyaya. And what will that give you? It will give you a ting anta padam. That's what it will give you. Sometimes, most of the time, when you do this, what will happen? One more pratyaya will come in. It will be dhatu plus vikarna pratyaya, and that will be followed by the ting pratyaya. So you end up with a vikarna pratyaya and a ting pratyaya together, and you will get a ting anta pada. All right. Now I want to go back one more step to show you how dhatus and pratipadikas come about. Okay. So you have, see, one is what we will call as normal rudi dhatus. We mean dhatus which are there naturally in the language. We don't create them. Okay. So I will call them basic dhatus. There are basic dhatus. And the second possibility is derived dhatus. Dhatus which are derived by us. How are dhatus derived? The way it goes is, you have a dhatu. All right. And now to this dhatu, we add a pratyaya. And the pratyaya is called a sanaadi pratyaya. Sanaadi pratyaya. What is sanaadi? A group of pratyayas. The first one of them is called san. Okay. These sanaadi pratyayas, when you add, what do you get? You have two possibilities. You have two possibilities. One is a new dhatu. Sorry. Why am I saying two possibilities? I'm sorry. Okay. Just give me a second. I should correct myself. So when you add, what will happen is you will end up with a new dhatu. You will end up with a new dhatu. So sanaadi dhatu plus sanaadi pratyaya gives you what? A new dhatu. This is one way a new dhatu can be born. The other way is you have a pratipadika. And to that also, what do you add? A sanaadi pratyaya. It will give you what? A new dhatu. So now you have two ways of getting new dhatus, deriving dhatus. One is adding a sanaadi pratyaya to dhatu. Another one is adding a sanaadi pratyaya with pratipadika. Okay. So end result is what now? You can create a lot of dhatus because each dhatu can give you so many. All right. And what is pratipadika? A noun. So now let's look at noun. I'll make it clear as we go forward what I'm trying to say to you. See, the sanaadi pratyayas, there are a bunch of pratyayas. One is called san, common pratyaya. For example, we say, if you have a desire to become free, moktum ichha. What is a dhatu now? Much is a dhatu to be free. You add a san pratyaya, you will get a new dhatu, mochi. Not mochi. You will get much. You add san, it may not get what you will get. You will get mumuks. Okay? You will get mumuks. That's a new dhatu. With that dhatu, we add thing to get mumukshati, mumukshataha, mumukshanti, etc. Moktum ichhati. Similarly, you can add to any dhatu and get what is called as a desiderative form. In English, they call it desiderative. Means what? The mula dhatu you take, and in the meaning of desiring to do that. So desiring to read, desiring to do, desiring to go, desiring to do. All this will be called desiring to go will be jigamisha. Desire to know will be babutsa. Desire to enjoy will be babuksha. So like this, you get a lot of new words. And these come from a new dhatu. And that new dhatu comes from a pratyaya called san. Similarly, there is another sanaadi, there are other pratyayas, which will give you a sense of doing it repeatedly, doing it intensely. These pratyayas are called young pratyaya. Basically, I'm telling you there are different endings which we add to get new dhatus. And the meaning of the dhatu is now one who does something frequently. Okay? For example, you hear in the Bhagavad Gita, you will hear an option, which is you'll hear a word, lelikhyate. Lelikhyase. Lelikhyase means what? Licking. Lih to lick. Lelikhyase means what? You're licking intensely, repeatedly. In the 11th chapter, you'll see this. The Vibhuti Yoga. How Bhagavan is coming up with this form, terrible form. So that intensely licking becomes lelikhyate. Likhyate is the normal one. Lelikhyate is what? Lelikhyate means licking intensely, licking frequently. That form you get with a dhatu lelikhya. And that dhatu you get by adding a pratyaya called yang to the mula dhatu, lich. And that yang pratyaya is also one of the sanaadi pratyayas. Okay. Then there are other pratyayas within sanaadi which are called namadhatu pratyayas. Namadhatu means what? When you add that pratyaya, it will give you a noun. You add that pratyaya to a noun, it will give you a dhatu. You take a noun, you add a pratyaya. So that will give you a new dhatu. Noun plus dhatu will give a new dhatu. So this kind of pratyaya is also called sanaadi pratyaya. Therefore, what ends up happening now? You add a sanaadi pratyaya, and sanaadi pratyaya itself are of multiple types. Okay, I told you one is called san, one is called yang, there is one called nich. Nich means causative. Don't worry if you don't catch all these names right now. Okay, my goal is to only give you an introduction to these. So it's a causative. So if you want, suppose a person reads. Now suppose I cause to read. What does it mean? It means teach. I can use a causative form of read to say teach. Pathati, pathayati. Gacchati, gamayati. Karoti, karayati. You understand what I'm trying to say? You cause something to happen. These are called causative, and causative is also a new dhatu. It's a causative dhatu. Patha is the basic dhatu. Patha plus nich will give you pathi, and that will become what? A sanaadi dhatu, a new dhatu. And that new dhatu will take all the privileges that any dhatu will take. It's another dhatu now. Now to that dhatu, to cause to read, I can add desire to cause to read. I can add desire to cause to read. Right? I will get that. Then I can say, you intensely desire to cause to read. You see how it goes? It can spread in all directions. Therefore, it's a very, very powerful method of deriving allowed within the language. Means the language has dhatus which are causative, has dhatus which are desiderative, has these dhatus which are intensive or frequent. And all these are reverse engineered by Panini, and he says, you add this pratyaya, you get it in this way. Okay? So what do I want to understand? Dhatu plus sanaadi pratyaya can give you what? A new dhatu. Pratipadika plus certain sanaadi pratyayas will give you what? A new dhatu. So you have now basic dhatu plus derived dhatus. Derived dhatus are called sanaadi dhatus. I can call it that. Sanadyanta dhatu, not sanadi. Sanadi anta dhatus. Are making sense? Sanadi ends. Sanadi anta. It becomes sanadyanta. Sanadyanta dhatu. What will that be? New dhatus. Other dhatus will be what? Those which are read in the dhatu patha. Dhatu patha, patita dhatu. Okay. Now, if we choose to go with a, sorry, why did I do that? I don't need spectrum. I just need a simple pen with a good color. Okay. So now we have what we call a pratipadika. This is our other bottom, our other basic element. Okay. Now, a pratipadika. How do you gain a pratipadika? A pratipadika, again, some people will argue that every pratipadika has to be derived. This is a view in grammar, that everything can be derived. If everything can be derived, it must be derived from something. What is it derived from? Starting point will be a dhatu. Starting point will be a dhatu. So how do you get a pratipadika? So we will say that a dhatu plus, instead of saying plus, I can show it differently. I can say here is the dhatu, and now to this dhatu, you add a pratyaya. And what will it give you? A pratipadika. What kind of pratyaya should I add? This pratyaya is called a krit pratyaya. Krit pratyaya. These names are useful. Krit pratyaya. Dhatu plus krit pratyaya gives you what? A pratipadikam. This is clear? Dhatu plus krit pratyaya will give you a pratipadikam. Further, how else can I get pratipadikas? One I get from a dhatu. How else can I get pratipadikas? For that, if we look further, we find you have a pratipadika. Pratipadika means a noun base. And to that, if I add a type of pratyaya called strii pratyaya, it will give me another pratipadika. I am adding a strii pratyaya. Let me make this more clear. Strii, feminine. Strii pratyaya. What will you get? A new pratipadika. Not the same one. You will get a new pratipadika. And that new pratipadika, what will be its difference? It will just be in feminine. Like say, for example, you have a person who is doing something. What is it called? Kartru. It's called a kartru. Now, you want to talk of a lady who is doing something. You cannot use kartru. You have to first convert it into a feminine form. Certain pratipadikas are in masculine. They can be converted to feminine. Some others cannot be converted to feminine. But those which can be converted to feminine have to get converted through a strii pratyaya. All right. So what does the strii pratyaya do? It has only one job: to take a masculine pratipadika and give you a new pratipadika, which is a feminine pratipadika. So kartri will be feminine. Dhanavan, masculine. Dhanavati, feminine. Gatavan, masculine. Gatavati, feminine. Okay. So you have several like this. Or, I could say Gantavya, masculine. Gantavya, feminine. So there are rules as to how a feminine word will form. So you have to go through the section. I mean, the word, you imagine a word going through a assembly line, okay? It has to come as a feminine word. It has to go through the factory where it is checked. If you need some changes to be made for making it feminine, it has to go through that. That job is done by strii pratyaya. Is this clear? Okay. Now, I could also do one more thing. I could add another type of pratyaya and still get a pratipadika. And that is called a taddhita pratyaya. Taddhita pratyaya. So a taddhita pratyaya, when added to a pratipadika, will give you a new pratipadika again. New pratipadika. Like what? You take Kunti and you add a pratyaya to say, I want to know who is the son of Kunti. And you will end up with a new pratipadika, Kaunteya. You start with Dasharatha and say, I want to know the son of Dasharatha. You add a pratyaya, ing, and you'll end up with Dasharathi. New pratipadika. It will decline like Hari. You start with Kausalya, mother of Rama, and say, I want to know mother's son, Kausalya's son. And you will get a new pratipadika, Kausalyeyaha. So how do you get all these words? By adding a taddhita pratyaya. So by adding strii pratyaya, you get a feminine pratipadika. By adding a taddhita pratyaya, you get a new pratipadika which has a different meaning. And now to this taddhita pratipadika, you can add a strii if necessary. Possibilities exist. So you can see now how you go round and round. Right? I told you that dhatu itself will lead to pratipadika, pratipadika will lead to dhatu. So you can imagine the scope of things now. Right? So now strii, taddhita, krit, sanaadi, 4, right? Plus sup, plus ting, plus vikarna. These are the 7 types of pratyayas in all. Nothing more. 7 types of pratyayas. I will repeat them again for you. Okay. So now, if you understand what we have done so far, what we have done is this now. We have 2 basic pieces. One is a dhatu, right? And another is a pratipadika. These are the 2. I'm sorry, I have to learn to write, okay? So these are 2 things now. Now, what did we see? We saw that I could have a dhatu giving rise to a dhatu by adding a sanaadi pratyaya. Correct? And I could have a pratipadikam giving rise to a dhatu by adding a sanaadi. So this is also san pratyaya, sanaadi, and this is also sanaadi. All right. And then what did we see? We saw that I could add a krit pratyaya to make a pratipadika. Okay. And I could also do take this, add a taddhita pratyaya to get another pratipadika. I'm trying to put them all on one page, okay? That's all I'm trying to do right now. I'm repeating what I've said. And then I could also take this and add a strii pratyaya to give a feminine pratipadika. So how many pratyayas are here now? Sanaadi, krit, taddhita, strii. Right? This much we have in place. And then what do? Then you take this dhatu and you add a ting, maybe along with a vikarna, to get a ting anta. All right. And from this side you come, you add a sup, sorry. You add a sup pratyaya to get what? A subanta. And subanta and tinganta constitute the whole business. Does that make sense? I could do this much better on a piece of paper, but with the attempt to do it on the pad, I'm having some challenges right now still. Okay, but I thought I should start using it. Otherwise, I will not use it at all. Now, the other thing is what we saw yesterday about what we call samasa. So what is that? You have a subanta, right? Pada, plus a subanta pada. Okay? You add these 2. When you add these, in some sense, what will happen really? Really, the pratipadikas behind the 2 subantas get added. Subanta doesn't get added. The pratipadikas underlying the 2 subantas get added. And what do you get when you add them? You may get a samasa or you may get a ekaseesa. Pitarau we saw is ekaseesa. Samasa is so many we saw, right? Like what? Vakratunda, Mahakaya, Koti Surya Samaprabha, right? Kamarupini, right? All these are samasas. Pitarau vande, that was ekaseesa. So now what do you get? Subanta plus subanta will give you what? Really? A samasa. And what is samasa? A samasa or an ekaseesa again is what? A pratipadika. Are you with me? One more pratipadika. Please excuse my handwriting, okay? That's one more pratipadika. So essentially now, do you see how it's all interrelated? It's so interrelated. You know, I came up to here, Subanta and Tinganta. Now, Subanta plus Subanta again gives you what? It gives you another pratipadikam. It really gives you another pratipadikam. I'm here, Subanta plus Subanta, and the result will be go back and come back to give you another pratipadikam. It gets very, you know, intricate. But net result is what? If you understood these 7 pratyayas and you understood the process of samasa, then the language is understood, well understood. That's what I want to show you. Okay. So I think I will come back to stop this sharing now. Okay, 1 second now. All right, I'll just leave it because I want to see how this works. Okay, so I'm just playing with that right now. Now, job is done. I'll go back to Zoom and say here. Okay. All right. So I don't know whether it was useful to you, but I want to see how it will work. So I can use the pen and be a little slower and probably makes it easier for you to follow as well. Okay. So in time, I will improve on how to do this better. But what we saw just now that I'm back on the laptop, I'm more at ease. So I will share with you what I want to share. So what we saw just now is just this much, okay? Subanta, because my handwriting was bad, I thought I should share it with you properly. Subanta is pratipadika plus supratyaya. Tinganta is optional upasarga plus dhatu plus ting pratyaya, which may lead to an extra pratyaya in between called vikarna pratyaya, right? So dhatu plus vikarna pratyaya plus ting pratyaya will give you tinganta pada. And pratyaya are of what forms? One is supratyaya, which we just saw, ting pratyaya, which we saw, vikarna we saw, then sanaadi. Sanaadi pratyaya is what? Dhatu plus sanaadi gives you a new dhatu. Dhatu plus sanaadi can also give you a new pratipadika. So this fellow is typically called a nama dhatu. Sorry, not that. No. I'm sorry. I messed it up here. Okay. I'm sorry. I've written it wrong. This should have said pratipadika. Pratipadika plus sanaadi pratyaya will give you a. What am I doing? Yeah, correct. Pratipadika plus sanaadi pratyaya will give you a new dhatu. And this kind of sanaadi pratyayas, or even this kind of dhatus, are typically called nama dhatu. Nama dhatu. Not very commonly seen in our Vedanta. Generally, you won't see much of it, but occasionally you might see. But this one, sanaadi dhatu, this is called a sanadyanta dhatu. Means a dhatu ending with one of the sanaadi pratyayas. And in this, I gave you a list of pratyayas. What are sun here? Example, san pratyayas, sanaadi. I gave you includes sun, this is desiderative. Then I told you young. And then there's a pratyaya nich, which is causative. Okay. These are significant ones. And this will give us a lot more language as we go. Okay. Krit pratyaya, dhatu plus krit pratyaya will give you a new pratipadika. Taddhita pratyaya, what will it do? Give you a new pratipadika. Pratipadika plus taddhita pratyaya will give you a new pratipadika. And strii pratyaya, what does it do? It gives you a new pratipadika. The only change is feminine gender. Okay. So if you understand this, then now if I just show you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now with you again. You see what I'm showing you? Ashtadhyay. All right. So now let us say I go to dhatu part. And in dhatu patha, I look for, let's say, one is my dhatu. All right. So when you come in, what will you find? Kartari prayoga is all what? It is tinganta. Bhava karmanoha is what? Tinganta. Right? Now I will go into sananta. San, I told you, is what? Desiderate. So vivandishate, latlakara. What does it mean? Desires to do vandanam, to do namaskara. Vivandishete, two people desire to do namaskara. Vivandishante, many desire to do namaskara. Nothing has changed. Dhatu artha is no longer just do a namaskara, it is desire to do a namaskara. Are you with me? So once you understood latlakara, see, what do you understand here? You know, vandate means what? Third person, not I, not me. He, she, or it does a salutation. Vandete, two of them do salutation. Vandante, three of them salute. Vandase, you salute. Vandethe, you both salute. Vandadve, you all salute. Correct? Vande, I salute. Vandavahe, we both salute. Vandamahe, we all salute. This much was clear. And I was the agent of doing. As soon as you went to bhava karma, what happened? Third person is saluted. Two people are saluted. Three or more people are saluted. You are saluted. Middle, second person. You both are saluted. You all are saluted. I am saluted. Vandye. We both are saluted. We all are saluted. What happened? The object of one was told by karmani. Now when we go sananta, what happens? In kartari and bhava karma, dhatu meaning is the same. Only the tinganta pada is it denoting the karta or karma of dhatu artha changed. Correct? Are you with me? Only what is denoted change. When you go to sananta, it's a brand new dhatu. It's a brand new dhatu. Therefore, he has not shown. This will again have what? Two things. Kartari and karmani. You see the universe, how it grows. In sananta dhatu, we again have kartari and karmani. Here what you are saying is kartari. Okay. Then you go to next. So what does the sananta mean? Desire to do whatever this dhatu means. So if I go back one level, what is the meaning of the dhatus? Vand. The meaning of dhatu vand is to worship, to show honor, to do, right? To do whatever. Next line. To do homage, to show respect, to venerate, to bow, to salute. All this meaning of one. With sun, what will you get? Add a word, desire to. All the same meanings. Desire to show honor, desire to worship. And now you interpret the lakaras, all 3x3 matrix, in accordance with this meaning. When I say causative, what do? You add a word. Cause to show honor, cause to worship, cause to do homage, cause to show respect, all cause. And now you again decline them, you will get forms. And what will you do? You will have a meaning in keeping with the new meaning of this dhatu. Does it make sense? Are you with me? So now, if I again go back to that, I go to now nijanta. Nijanta, I told you, nich is a pratyaya. That gives you the form for causative. Vandayati means what? He causes somebody to salute. He or she. Vandayami, I cause somebody to salute. Okay? And causative will always take both forms, parasmapada and atmanepada. Same meaning. That's how it is. Right? Now, I have finished causative. What's next? Yanganta. Means what? Va vandyate. He does namaskara frequently. No. He keeps doing namaskara. That's the meaning. Va vandyate. Va vandi. I keep saluting. So now you get one idea. One is one word, but connected to one, you get so many words. And you just have to know the forms. Va vandyate, one form. Vandayati, one form. And it's not too long before you get familiar with the forms. Once you start being aware of them, you will spot them. And once you spot them, your vocabulary will grow by leaps and bounds. Because you just have to know now what each one means. And one pratyaya has one meaning. Right? And then we enter what? Kridanta. What is Kridanta? Not one. Many pratyayas are there. Each gives a different meaning. So now, Vandanam. What does Vandanam mean? The abstract noun meaning of the one dhatu. Saluting. That's what Vandanam means. Vandaniyaha means what? Vandaniyaha means somebody is worthy of a salutation. Should be saluted. To be saluted. Is saluted. All those meaning will come with Vandaniya. And now that is masculine. You want feminine? You add a strii pratyaya, you end up with what? Vandaniya. All right. Then we add another pratyaya called null. You will get Vandakaha. What will it mean? It will mean again a doer of salutation. Vandaka is one who salutes. One who salutes. Feminine will become what? Vandika. Balaka, balika. Adhyapaka, adhyapika. You've seen this. Right? Then one more krit pratyaya, tumun. So these are all names of some krit pratyayas. Tumun. Tumun means what? Vanditum. Vanditum means in order to salute. So I am going to the temple for what? Ishvaram Vanditum. In order to salute Ishvara. object it will take. Vanditum. I am going to my room in order to sleep. I am going to class in order to study. Pathitum. I am going to town for fun. Whatever, bhoktum, to enjoy. Like this, too, that meaning will come. You can add tumun to any dhatu. Pathitum, banditum, gantum, bhoktum, kartum. All will come. One tum. And it's avyaya. When you add tum, what you get is an avyaya. No more declensions. Whereas these are what? These are subanta. So Vandaka will decline like Rama. Vandika will decline like Rama. Vandaniya will decline like Rama. Akaranta. Vandaniya will decline like Rama. Vandanam will decline like Phalam. Neuter. So now you can see, I have just told you very few things in 1 week. But if you understood Phalam, now you can use Vandanam also. No problem. If you know Rama, you can use Vandaniya. You can see right here. Vandanam is like Phalam. Phalam is like what? Rama Shabda. Rama Shabda is Akaranta Pullinga. One Akaranta Pullinga will give you this form, will give you this form, will give you this form, will give you this form. How many do you want? That's why I said memorize. Because you have to be familiar with those forms. To use all these are all pratipadikas. To use them, you need what? Declensions. Okay. Now, trich. Trich, he has given vandita. I would have said vanditru. That's the pratipadikam. Vanditru. Vanditru will decline as vandita, vanditarau, vanditaraha. Like karta, kartarau, kartaraha. Kartru, vanditru, bhoktru. Adding one pratyaya called trich. And feminine will become vanditri. Is it too fast? Are you okay? I'm not intending you to remember all this right now. I'm just giving you a bird's eye view of what you gain, how the language is being studied. Okay. So now this goes like dhatru or dhatru. If you look in these slides, you will find one rikaranta, dhatru shabda. And that dhatu shabda is a template for all dhatus to which trich is added. And what does it give you? An agent of that action. Kartru, bhoktru, kantru, paktru. So many millions of words you will get just by adding one trich. And then you have what is called as a twa. Twa means having done. Vanditva means having saluted. And you have a discount here. What's the discount? This vanditva is an avyaya. Which means no more declensions. Don't have to go to Rama Shabda. Vanditva. Like what? Snatva khadami. Snatva means what? Having taken a shower. Snatva. Pathitva khadami. Having eaten, having studied, I will eat. Or khaditva pathami. Having eaten, I will read. Both ways you can do. Having done something will be said by twa. But sometimes there is an upasarga. Then instead of twa, you get a pratyaya called lyap. Pravandya. Pra plus vand will not take twa, it will become vandya. So agamya, gatva, having gone. Agamya, having come. Because of upasarga, you won't get twa, you will get a pratyaya called lyap. Don't worry about all these names again. If you don't remember, it won't matter. Just showing you how words are born out of one dhatu. Tavatu. This tavatu and ta are participle as a doer and past participle as a karma. So vanditavan means somebody who in the past has done a salutation. The person who has done a salutation in the past. Vanditaha is the person who has received a salutation. One is karmani, one is kartari. Karmani. Kartari and karmani. Then you have you have something called, a present participle, Shatru and Sharaj. So you can see he's saying more forms are coming here home. So hopefully means what? You have many more like this. Okay. And then upasargas will give you more meanings for the dhatu. And then you have prayogas, which we have looked at. I mean, examples of all these. And if you go to the last thing here, info, it will tell you the meaning. It will tell you which gana. It will tell you a few things, okay? Which may not be very useful to you today. But it is all done in a very beautiful way on this website. So you just start with, dhatu. And from dhatu, you can go all over. Was it too much? Was it too much? Was it too fast? Did you follow? I mean, as I said, I don't expect you to remember everything. I want you to get in one sweep the understanding of how we are approaching the class. Okay? I first only taught you lat lakara, but you are ready to make a leap to all the other forms. In lat lakara, for sanaadi dhatu, for yanganta dhatu, everything. You just have to know a new dhatu. And we will look at how to derive dhatus. Don't memorize. How to derive dhatus logically by adding a pratyaya. So that much comes to your head. List of pratyayas you have. You know how to add them. Now you are the boss. What should you know? You should know a few pratyayas, a few dhatus, and some methods. All of it will not happen overnight, but can happen gradually. That you should see the light at the end of the tunnel, that I can do it. Yes, we can. That attitude you should get. That's all I'm trying to help you be motivated with. It is not too difficult. Can be done. And without a dictionary, you will know what is gantavya, gamya, agatya, gatva, all forms. One pratyaya you understand, you understood it for all dhatus, not for one. Get one, get everything. Buy one, get everything free. That's our motto, okay? We don't go for buy one, get one free. Buy one dhatu, get one dhatu, and everything else is free. Learn one Rama Shabda, all akarantas are free. But if you don't learn one akaranta, everything is expensive. Nothing is available. Okay. So understand the importance of those templates. Template for dhatus, templates for nouns. So once you're able to understand, appreciate, which is why I told you two reference books. What are they? Shabda Rupa Manjari and Dhatu Rupa Manjari. This is form specific. You have to know the forms. The meanings are all by which pratyaya, what meaning you get is in your head. The forms will follow. And I'm saying you can do this with any dhatu. Not one, any dhatu. So it's not, I'm not saying it'll all happen overnight, okay? But I'm trying to show you in 9 days how much you can understand. And to show now how many more days, see, I can pick one, what? First Gana Dhatu. Okay? How to derive Bhavati from Bhu. Basics. Not every step, but important steps. How to go from Bhu to Bhava. It will take some time. Right? But again, we don't go there directly. What will we do? We know now. See, we have now looked at how the words are formed. How is word formed? Tinganta, Subanta. That's where we began. For Tinganta, you have to add the lakara, ting pratyayas, in a particular lakara, in kartari, karmani, or bhave, and know the forms. We have played with one, lat lakara. Correct? On the other side, how do you get subanta pada? By taking a pratipadika and adding supratya. Rama, Ramo, Rama. That you have seen. Today, what do we look at? How do you get words like Rama? Pratipadika derivation. How do you get dhatus like pat? Part of them are listed in dhatu patha, others can be derived. So now you have got those two building elements, basic elements. But in order to do more about building, what do you need? You need all the pratyayas. 7 types of pratyayas you should know. Right? And then to go a little further, what do you need? You need to know how to make samasas. How to make ekaseesa. Ekaseesa, you forget, it won't hurt much. Samasa, we have to. Samasa is not easy because it means you have to know the knowledge of so many words to combine them. And yesterday I mentioned to you avyaya. What is avyaya? Indeclinables. Whole bunch of them. Right? And some of them, like we saw, gatva, pathitva, pathitum, they are indeclinables based on a verb, based on a kridanta. There are indeclinables based on taddhita. Like what we saw the other day. Yatra, tatra, kutra, yada, kada, iha, amutra. These are all time related. Taddhita. And then there are others which are not depending on any pratyaya. Like what? Va. Va means what? Or. Athava. Atha. Atha kim. Kim va. So many are there. And these are to be used just one off. You don't have any forms to memorize. One word, one meaning. Sometimes many meanings. One word, sometimes many meanings. Possible. Some of the avyayas will look exactly like a kridanta, will look like a tinganta shabda or subanta shabda, but they don't decline. It will look like one. Like aham is a subanta, one of asmat shabda, but aham is also an avyaya. Same meaning. So there are avyayas like that as well. And these avyayas, if you ask me, are very low hanging fruit. We pick them as we go. All right. But the more we know avyayas, the more the connections will happen for you. Because you have a word, like yesterday we saw alam. Right? Alam. We saw the word alam yesterday. That's an avyaya. You could have a word vina. Without means without. Now, when the word vina comes, there are certain upapada vibhaktis which will walk in. But to know them, you better know vina first. The word saha. Have you heard the word saha? Saha means with. Saha means with. Now, father goes. Father goes. Pita gacchati. Son goes with the father, you want to say. Son goes with the father. Father goes. Son is accompanying the father. How do you say that? Pita gacchati putrena saha. Putrena saha. What is saha? It is an avyaya, which means with. And what does it tell you now? The rule is tritya vibhakti will be used with the accompanying artist. In fact, you understand what I mean, right? Means there is one main actor and there is one who is secondary. Father is important. Father is going to market. Father is going to town. Son is tagging along. Apradhana. And that fellow will be put in the third case. Putrena saha pita gacchati. Sitaya saha Ramaha gacchati. Lakshmanena saha Ramaha gacchati. No problem. Or if the author wants to make Sita bigger, what will he say? Ramena saha Sita gacchati. You see how you played now. Just by changing who is put in third case, the poet can say, look, Sita is more important than Rama. We can do that. Just by moving the third case pronoun. Apradhana. And you have a simple avyaya. Ah. What is it? Ah. It's called aang. So, ah means a boundary. Ah means a boundary. Like what? Up to the end of Pataliputra. Pataliputra is a city, name of a town. Up to Pataliputra, it rained. Or it rains. It doesn't rain beyond Pataliputra. You want to say that. How do you say that? A Pataliputrat Varshati. That A tells you, and it will be governing the fifth case. When you want to limit something, you add an A and use in fifth case. So, for example, A Brahma Bhuvanat Lokat Punaravartinorjuna. Gita. A Brahma Bhuvanat. Now, A has two meanings, okay? A has two possible meanings. It can be up to excluding or up to including. Are you with me? Inclusive limit or exclusive limit. So if I say up to 100, it can mean up to 99 only, or it can mean up to 100. Both possibilities exist. If you exclude 100, that is called maryada. This is the way we talk about it. Maryada, boundary which is excluding the limiting value. And if it includes the limiting value, it is called abhividhi. Abhividhi. If you don't remember these words, it doesn't matter. What it matters is, if I say A Brahma Bhuvanat, what should you remember? That fifth case is used with Bhuvanat. And it can mean up to Brahmaloka, excluding Brahmaloka, or it can mean up to including Brahmaloka. Contextually, you have to interpret. So somebody will interpret, it excludes. Somebody else can interpret, it includes, and you can fight over it. Unfortunately, this situation exists that two people can fight because the same pratyaya means both. What do you do? That's how the language is. So we say, when this A comes in the sense of this limiting condition, then you have a pancami vibhakti. Whatever it limits, limiting condition of which is being specified, that will be put in the fifth case. Upapada. So, A Brahma Bhuvana Lokat Punaravartinorjuna. Up to and including Brahma Loka, all lokas, when you go, you have to come back. You only get a visa. You don't get citizenship. Up to and including Brahma Loka. Suppose you took the other meaning, what will happen? Up to Brahma Loka, you will come back. If you go to Brahma Loka, you won't come back. That is also a meaning somebody will give. Why? Because when you go to Brahma Loka, normally you won't come back. That idea will be given. Gita has got too many commentators, hundreds. So somebody can always come up with their own idea. You know. So Shankara will make it clear. It includes Brahmaloka also in his commentary. So this is how the see what did I do today? I just extended 3 upapada vibhaktis to you. Vibhakti you understand. Fifth case you understand. Ramat you know. Lokat you know. Bhuvanat you know. Words are there. Now what do? What did A add to it? What does saha do to something? So you can see, you first have a base and then you start growing aspects of the language. This is the best way to learn. Otherwise, the whole language is very, it's threatening almost, How many details? How am I going to know? I showed you a diagram not to scare you, but to show you everything is related. But that relationship also shows you the complexity of the beast. How everything is interrelated. It's like a jalebi, goes round and round. So it can be, intimidating. We don't need to be. We need to understand what? We are only looking at two padas, subanta and tinganta. Start there. Lat lakara, good. You go further, step by step. And you learn how to use more. Your vocabulary grows, your sense of understanding grows, everything grows in steps. And in all these, we have not talked about what? Hey, there is sandhi. When two letters combine, they will change. And that will impact what? It will impact a word. It will impact sentences. It will impact everything. Therefore, we have to know what are the rules of sandhi. And there are different rules of sandhi for between words and within words. And some rules will apply across both of them. We have to know. Right? So this becomes a building block. You do some sandhi, it helps you in deriving the word and also in making sentences. Right? So I don't like to start with sandhi in the class because without knowing a word, what sandhi will I teach you? Now you should know the language. You should know how Sanskritam works. Now there's some enthusiasm to do sandhi because you're learning. Otherwise, you learn some rules. A plus I is A. What will you gain with that? Nothing. So you first learn the language. Then you know what limits your growth in the language. So you learn more. Then you know what limits you. You learn more. That's the way we try to progress. Okay? It's almost time. It is time. So I'll stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. Yes, brother.
Swamiji, yesterday you have told no sixth conjugation, certain dhatus which are most important, and you have to learn that.
Yeah, learn means know the meaning of the dhatus and basic form. Yeah.
For that matrix, we have to say lat lagara, lot lagara, lung and link.
I said only lat you learn. I didn't say anything more. I said learn only lat.
Lat lagara.
Yeah. Start with lat. When we start lot, you'll do lot. Right now, lat. Understand lat because lat means present tense. Easy.
Yeah, lat is easy.
Stick with that for now. And see, all I want you to know is what? See, dhatu. If you know bhu dhatu, if you know at dhatu, pat dhatu in first conjugation, then what is extra in tud? Nothing. It just you have to know the meaning. Tuda means to pierce. Tudati, tudata. If you know bhu dhatu, tudati, tudanti is easy. So what should you learn? Only one form. Third person singular. Tud becomes tudati. Ish becomes ichhati. That's an exception. You will not know it. You better know. Ish becomes ichhati. What's the benefit? Then, when you go for the kridantas, you will get ishta, ishitavya, etc. You will connect. Dhatu should be known. But for tinganta, we need to know how the form will come. Ichhati, we will know. So that one, if you know, now you can extend ichhati, ichhata, ichhanti. I want you to know what I'm trying to say. You know titahanti. Now you need to know to what should I add titahanti. That you understand. By knowing one third person singular, you will understand that. Okay? Is that somewhat clear?
Okay, Swamiji. Then in page number 20,
yeah.
Ashtagane Dudadau, sixth conjugation. One page number is written. I can't understand what it is.
Page 20, what did you say?
Page 20.
Shashtagane Dudadau. Don't worry. It's just telling in the sixth gana. See, shashta gana means sixth group. Shashta is six, gana is six. Shashta gana is like Rama Shabda. You tell me shashta gana is what case now? If you ask me a question, I ask you back, okay? It's seventh case, singular, which means in. In the sixth gana, in the sixth group of dhatus, tudadau. In the group called tudadi, in that group, there are 157 roots. How does it matter to you? Don't worry about it.
Nice.
That's all. It's telling
Okay,
you
okay.
the number
I
of
couldn't
roots.
understand what it is. I thought it
Fair
is
enough.
page number or
Fair
something.
Fair enough. I only told you a few dhatus. Okay.
And the other only let lagara, now we have to study by heart. Let lagara
What
is
did I say even there? I told you just understand the forms. I will look at it again tomorrow. Okay. Or even now. Let's see. All right. Let me take other questions and I will have time. I'll come back to you. Okay.
okay.
Or to others. Yes, Manjula.
Swamiji, namaste. My question is an example where aham is used as an avyaya.
We don't, I mean, I don't recall offhand, and you won't see the difference anyway. Because whether it's avyaya or aham, if it has same meaning, how will you know what's the difference? You won't know. So there is some reason for it. I don't recall offhand. Okay. So not very relevant for us right now. Okay. Yes, Ramesh.
Swamiji, I had one related to what was asked earlier. Page number 20, the dhatus.
Yeah.
One doubt on prach.
Yeah.
Why does prach become true when?
Why? Don't ask. That question, why? If it is possible, sometimes I'll explain. You can ask. But in this case, see, you know what? The language is prichati. That's the language. Now, I will tell you, prach becomes prichati because there is a rule called samprasaranam. This is all reverse engineering. It won't buy you. You'll learn one more term, that's all. Finally, what should you know? Prach becomes prich. Now, if you know why it became prich, where it will help you is you will be able to use it in other forms of prach. Okay? And that knowledge may come in time if we study more. At this point, to answer that question will be hard.
Okay.
Okay? All that I can tell you is in certain cases, the ra becomes r. There are rules for it. But I'm saying really all rules are reverse engineered. So you should understand the language, the form is prichati and the dhatu is prach. Why then dhatu is prach? Because there are some benefits to it. Prashnaha, not prishna, prashnaha. So the word prashna is there, prichati is there. One of them will get messed up. If you take dhatu this way, that will get messed up. If you take dhatu, the other will get. So what will Panini do? He chooses a dhatu which is more appropriate and then gives you a rule for getting tingatafau in this case. That's how it works. So why I pointed out is this, where there is no exception, the general rule will work. Exceptions you have to know. So what I'm saying is, now see, there are hundreds of vikaranta shabdas, which will all decline like Hari. But then there will be some shabdas which won't decline like Hari. Like Pati. Now, Pati is one exception. So he tells you, hey, Pati is an exception. So suppose that was the only exception. I have to learn only two things, a general rule and one exception. Suppose there are two more. I have to learn a general rule and three exceptions. Right? Now, suppose you remove this method. How do you learn? You have to learn everyone as an individual. The method is you make a general rule, you put an exception. If there's an exception for the exception, record that. So the method of study in Panini is you study based on rules and exceptions. So that if you study the rule, you got 90% or 80%. Rule will give you that much. Exception will give you a little more. It's like the 70-30 rule or 80-20 rule, you know. 80% of the work will be done with 20% of the effort. But 20% remaining will give you 80% effort. It will take. Exactly the story. Suppose you drop this prach. General rule, you will be happy. But you want to get everything, you have to put more and more effort. So I like the idea in this book where it clearly points out the exceptions in a very simple way, in a bracket, in a parenthesis. So you know there's an exception, I have to know it. There is no other way. Maybe I will know why it's an exception later. Maybe I won't. But to the extent that I am going mechanically, I have to add titahanti. I know I cannot add to prach. I have to add it to prach. That much is what I want you to gain here. Okay?
Okay. And one more, which could be kind of a out of syllabus question. I was looking at not only lat but others. Lung start with and it's like opposite.
Correct.
So I couldn't understand. So I left it at that.
Okay,
Right
I'll
now.
tell you what. Look, if you are going with lung, then I hope you are looking at the basic forms which are given on page 4 or 5 in Dhatu Rupa Manjari, which tells you tam an tam ta vama, right? Parasmapada. Now, what I have not told you, since you asked a question, I will tell you. Lang lakara, lung lakara, and ring lakara. Lung, lung, ring will all get an a or an a in the beginning before the dhatu. Immediately before the dhatu. Why should I say immediately before the dhatu? Because if there's an upasarga, not before upasarga, before dhatu, but after upasarga. So the forms will change. Right? So bhu will become abhavat. Pat will become apatat. Right? That's how it'll happen. Now, bhu becomes abhavat. Anu upasarga. Anu plus abhavat. It will become anvabhavat. You will wonder why. It is anu plus abhavat. Okay? Suppose it was vi, visheshena, upasarga. You will get what? Vyabhavat. Swamiji, I don't know what is this. Which form is this? It is vi plus abhavat. Therefore, all you have to know is there is an a which comes in lung, lung, and ring. Okay? That much you have to know. And we have not gone there. See, I have not asked you to go there. Why? You memorize what you can. But I would like to say, understand the language through lat first, because it's easy. Then we extend it to all our lakaras because it's only now understanding its past tense. What's the big deal? One form has to be known. Everything else is already done, cooked. Right? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes, Deepti.
Pranam Swamiji. This is for aham shabda that it's in declinable. So when we are learning to the rupa asmat shabda, we say there that it's trishulangeshu samanaha.
Yes.
That means it. Then all the others are also in declinable. Avam, vayam also.
I didn't say that, okay? I just made a casual mention that sometimes words which are looking like subanta can also be abhyayas. Okay?
Oh.
That's all. I didn't expect it to make people, get disturbed by it more, because I'm seeing now you're second person asking about this aham as an abhyaya. So understand, it was only meant to show that there are words which will otherwise look exactly like a subanta, but they're abhyayas. And there'll be some use for it somewhere. I don't recall exactly where and why it is done, but that's the language. It exists like that. See, what is an avyaya? Its avyaya will mean that it is the same in all genders. Therefore, you're pointing out why it's the problem there. It could be same in all numbers too. Okay. You have no numbers. Namaha stands whether it's singular, dual, or plural. It has no numbers. But I don't know about aham specifically, all right? All I'm saying is that there are words which can look like a subanta or a tinganta, but could be an avyaya. They're called vibhakti pratirupaka avyayas. That's a term. Unfortunately, I gave aham as an example. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Nothing else? No more questions?